Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the changes coming to MSNBC. It looks like they're trying to build a far left news Voltron.
Yeah, it's funny. They're like, you know how everybody kept saying when Biden was in that Fox News was the alt-right, propaganda channel? Well, sounds like what MSNBC is going to be doing on the opposite side.
Yeah, they're actually going out and they're going to be, again, this is MSNBC after they got scraped off the bomb of the shoe of NBC Universal. And they got this spin-off, Spinco, or whatever the hell this company's called. And they're going out.
Spinco is fitting.
Spinco is fitting. So now they're going to go out and pick up a bunch of people from the Washington Post and Politico. And a bunch of disgruntled left-wing reporters. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Now, do I think there's a market for this? Look, there's a bunch of crazy people online that are obsessed with Trump. So yeah, they probably at least would have 4 years.
That's what they're probably going to do. It's going to last 4 years, and then they'll sell it to somebody else because no one will care after that, unless Vance comes back in or something.
Yeah. So we'll talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Hey, if you guys have not been getting notifications of our videos, and I've had people come to me and say, hey, I'm no longer getting notifications like it's, our fault. YouTube's been doing some weird stuff. Subscribe to clownfishtv.substack.com. I'm going to post links to our new videos. Every time we post a video on there, you will get a notification via email. It doesn't cost anything. Just sign up for notifications because I want to make sure you guys don't miss any videos. That's clownfishtv.substack.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about this. So this comes from Deadline. MSNBC building up its news operation in advance of split from Comcast. Jen Psaki and the weekend hosts eyed for expanded roles.
Yeah, I love how long that headline is. Yeah, it starts out, they're talking about how they're going to spin it off. They said MSNBC is being spun off from Comcast later this year. And then they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with NBC News no longer being the sister network. So they said some people, like Andrea Mitchell, was signed on from her early afternoon show, is going to stay with NBC. So some people are going to stay on the NBC side, and then some people are going to be basically hoisted off into the new Spinco side.
The people that they think are valuable, they're going to keep.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. But here's where it gets interesting. They said...
wait, the people that are valuable, they're going to keep? Rachel Maddow is not one of them?
No. She's not. She's not. Her ratings were in the toilet. She's not. Actually, what I think it is probably more like... We're going to keep the people that will be middle of the road, that aren't going to embarrass us. And then all the people with TDS, they can go over. They should call MSTDS.
Yeah.
You guys can all go over this other network, right? MSNBC President Rebecca Cutler is also hiring for a head of talent, a head of news gathering, a Washington bureau chief, a head of content strategy. According to
it's a lot of hiring.
That is also being discussed or adding names from outlets like the Washington, the Washington Post, Politico.
Well, that's what I said. Well, people were mad. The Washington Post, the WAPO people were mad because they were told to stick to sports.
Yep.
And go back to center. And then he didn't endorse Harris, and basically they're mad. So a lot of people were either getting laid off or they were leaving. Politico is already under fire because it turned out that there was these really expensive subscription services that the government was paying for as what seemed like laundering money through it. And there's probably other places that, they've been laying people off that are too far and they've gone too far and they lost their audience. Those are the people they're going to pick up for and they want contributors and anchor roles too.
Yeah, because a lot of those people, they're rage quitting. I think the LA Times. How much do you want to bet Taylor Lawrence is going to wind up at MSNBC?
Oh, probably. Oh, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
I can
actually
almost guarantee she's probably already sniffing around because she's tried to do it on her own. She's not doing very well.
Oh, shocker there.
Also being eyed for expanded roles are Jen Psaki, who hosts a Sunday afternoon and Monday primetime show. Simone Sanders Townsend, Alicia. See, I don't watch these talking heads. I have no idea. Alicia Menendez, Michael Steele, who hosts the Saturday and Sunday morning show The Weekend. When she was an executive at CNN, Cutler recruited Psaki and Sanders. Puck and Variety reported on the anticipated changes. So they're going to try to shore everything up. It's going to be
this person, basically, they're using her to go get her other people that were loyal to her to come over to MSNBC.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these moves will signal that MSNBC will retain its progressive bent in the spin-off.
No shit.
The network saw an audience drop following the election, but there has been an uptick since Trump's inauguration, with Rachel Maddow returning to 5 nights a week for the first 100 days. Now,
Trump land.
Yeah, they're actually calling it Trump land.
Some of the others too. There's like her doing a first 100 days and then Trump land. And Maddow, of course, everything he does, she finds fault with because that's all she does. But they're paying her how much money, so they have to get her to work at least some. But yeah, so they're just they're getting an uptick, and they're going to, because there are so many people that are like losing their shit, especially the ones that are getting laid off, that there's an audience. I mean, I'm not going to lie. There's a definite audience for this. I expect it to go up.
Blue Sky is their audience.
Mm-hmm. But I do expect that their viewership might go up because people, are getting really angry. A lot of people are okay with it, but a lot of people that are getting affected by it are getting very, very angry.
Almost the entirety of their audience will be laid off federal workers.
Yeah, or like, half-shaved head. I have like 5 different identities.
Right. It'll be all the people that basically in the last month have been ass mad about one decision or another. And like, look, you're allowed to feel however you want to feel.
Yeah, that's fine.
But what's going to happen is they'll be like, yes, this is necessary journalism. But then like Fox News or OAN or any of those networks, they literally exist. And they're like, they're Nazis.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds like it's the very far left version of everything they accuse Fox News and stuff of being, except Fox News actually seems more balanced lately. So I'm just like, it's everything they've accused the other side of. It's okay when they do it. And it's just the same coin, different side. That's all it is.
So since we're talking about journalism, I guess we can move into this. This is more than 40 journalist-supported groups are condemning government attacks on press freedom. And this is all over the Associated Press getting barred from the White House because they refuse to acknowledge the Gulf of America.
Okay. But Biden,
what the hell? Biden
kicked people out if he said that they were being disruptive or they had different things. He wouldn't let them in either. But beyond that, it's like if I had said, okay, because remember, this is funny that it's the journalist supported groups are mad about freedom, even though they're the ones trying to silence anybody who's not one of them. If we had kept calling it Mount McKinley and not Mount Denali or whatever, they would have had a hissy fit. They would have done the exact same thing that they're mad about now because name was changed. People kept saying, hey, I still call it Aunt Jemima. How dare you? How dare you, you racist? And they would have attacked you until you changed it and tried to go after you. But they're mad when someone does it to them. It's been changed. Whether it's stupid, I honestly think it's dumb, but it's been changed. It is what it is. You have to respect it. It's been changed officially.
The National Press Photographers Association joins 40 other journalist-supported organizations, releasing a joint statement that condemns how the White House has chosen to penalize independent reporting on the government and its activities.
Really funny story. Sorry to interrupt you again.
Yeah.
Really funny story, though, and you can vouch for this. I mentioned this before, but our local paper, there's hardly any reporters. So they keep running Associated Press articles. And the Associated Press articles are extremely anti-Trump on everything. So the entire paper is like every other article is Trump's an idiot, Trump did this, and a lot of it's not even true. Like about the IRS, they're mad about the IRS, but that's not exactly what's going on. And they keep running this because they're all mad. So their AP gets sent to all the different publications, all different newspapers across the country. And they're trying to leverage that to try to change the narrative. Is what they're trying to do. But meanwhile, Trump and them are letting YouTubers and independent voices come to the press groups too.
Yeah. As long as you're not an asshole, you're allowed to.
Right. And that's going to bite them in the ass even more. Yeah. And that's making them madder even more.
Look, this is, as somebody who used to be a vetted journalist, this is exactly what it's about. This is what we talked about yesterday with the FTC cracking down on big tech this is not so much a political thing. I don't think as it is a competition
I think it's a control thing.
It's control. These vetted journalists, like back in the day, if you were a journalist, you just like did it. You just went out and you did it. You did the work. There was no real training for it. You picked up your skill set by working at the paper, working your way up, the ladder until you got to a position where you actually, had your own beat or whatever, or you're an editor, whatever. And now they have all these organizations. Now it's basically a very academic thing, right? You have to belong to the vetted journalist organization and belong to a verified news source.
And have the right pedigree.
Journalist. Have the right pedigree, have the credentials, all the press pass, all that stuff. It used to be that anybody could just pick up a pencil and a notepad and start.
Well, that's why they're angry. That's why they're angry, because they invited YouTubers, podcasters, people who legitimately are covering news and have been doing it themselves. And people are listening to these people more and more and more and less to them. They were bringing them in and letting them have press pass, and they're mad about it. And I'm like, but you guys, it's a simple thing. Just call it the Gulf of America. It's really, I know, I get it. It's kind of lame, but so what? When they changed the names about, they changed Mount Denali and all that crap, everybody else had to fall in the line and call it what Biden and co. decided. If it's an actual change, federally change something, just change it. No one's stopping you. You just have to, it's about not recognizing authority, but you want to demand everybody else recognize 2 years ago.
I just think it's hilarious because, they're having a fit.
It's so stupid.
A couple things. They said the United States officially changed its naming convention for this body of water to the Gulf of America, but the bulk of countries in which the AP operates do not recognize this change and continue to know it as the Gulf of Mexico. Google changed it. Apple changed it, but they actually changed it to, it was split. It was like Gulf of Mexico was in parentheses or Gulf of America was in parentheses, so it could work either way. They could do that.
Yeah, they could. They could just say formerly known as.
Yeah. The body of water formerly known as the Gulf of Mexico.
But here's the thing. I don't care if AP works in other countries. If we work in other countries, okay, it's like, say France changed a bunch of names and stuff. In the U.S., to do journalism properly, you'd have to acknowledge that their proper, their stuff, they changed it, which they're allowed to do. And you would have to recognize that they changed these things. That stupid saying, well, they work in other countries. And then they want to call it the Gulf of Mexico. It's like, it's not about that. It's about you being like sticking it to Trump, is the whole thing. And it's an easy thing to fix. If you just come into line and do what you're supposed to do, you'll be allowed at the press thing. Same as everybody else who got kicked out under Biden.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting because they did rotate who was allowed in the
right. There's too many to have them in at once. You got to take turns.
And they've done this before. Every administration does this, but yeah, they threw out CNN, the Washington Post, the Hill, and Warzone, and then they replaced them. Oh no, their workspaces in the Pentagon. Okay, then they replaced them with Newsmax, the Washington Examiner, which is right wing, the Daily Caller, right wing, and the Free Press, right wing.
Right, but they were all very left wing before doing what Biden and company wanted. So how is it any different?
They didn't throw out all the left-wing publications. They kept a lot of the ones in the middle of the road, but that's exactly it. Because, there were no right-wing voices. Like the Daily Caller, they tried building that up as an actual Nazi publication. Newsmax, I remember they tried to destroy Newsmax. They tried to destroy OAN. And this is what's so kind of disgusting about is they said the disturbing challenge to journalistic independence is part of a troubling pattern that extends beyond the White House press corps. For example, the Trump-appointed chair of the FCC has taken extraordinary steps to investigate and intimidate broadcasters over their internal policies and constitutionally protected editorial decisions. No, they wanted to see
you guys keep spitting stuff.
Right. These actions by the head of this historically bipartisan independent regulatory body sets a dangerous precedent and risks giving the government greater control over which voices are heard.
Okay, but again, these people were allowed there before, but no right-wing people were. How is it it's no different? That's what makes me mad. It's like if I personally think you should have both sides, in my opinion. I believe both sides should be allowed to be there. That being said, you can't get mad about it when they're doing the exact same thing you did, except they're actually being a little more accommodating by letting both groups in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same coin.
Well, and we talked about yesterday with the FTC, how they controlled it. How they controlled it was they would go out to tech and they would make sure that they say, oh, well, you can go start your own website. You can go start your own blog. You can go start your own podcast. And then they would work with the tech companies to make sure that those sites never got found.
Right. And that's what we talked about yesterday. And it's like they were doing those audits to make sure that you were the right kind of person so you could be found. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't give me this shit that it's intimidating. These are the same people who have been trying to intimidate independent journalists and people like us for months. With we went to journalism college and you don't listen to those people. These are the same people, but that's just it. It's okay when they do it. And it's like, it's not. I mean, I personally believe that press should be free, and I think both sides should be allowed to be there, unless you're given reasons not to. But it wasn't before. And it seems like it's more fair now, and they're still mad about it.
Yeah, they're going to be, because they controlled everything for the last 8-10 years.
They can go be part of Voltron with Rachel Maddow.
They can go be part of far-left Voltron. So we're going to wrap this one up.
Yep.
Let's wrap it up, guys. Again, check out clownfishtv.substack.com. I'm going to try to get notifications out to you guys that way, since YouTube is apparently not helping people do that anymore. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.